All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is going to be completely normal to see just a few people here. Like I said, I do not take attendance in this course, and I will not take attendance. So with it also being live streamed and recorded, I totally get it. So I am completely prepared to maybe one day come in here and not have one person in here. I don't want that, of course. I'm not encouraging that. But I'm completely prepared for it. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Questions, comments, concerns before I start doing a tab? Yeah. What's up? Oh, no, not at all. I don't think you're on camera either, so I don't think you're gonna get caught by anyone. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to do a tad bit of just kind of touching up on some things I talked about last time before diving into ArcGIS Pro. And so I'm going to introduce you to ArcGIS Pro. If you've already familiar with it, then this is going to be kind of review, kind of redundant. But the idea here, once again, in this particular technical course is getting everyone technically together before we start then making maps. All right, so if we go to modules, we'll see some just some small updates. First off, the live streams, all of these are going to be up at the top. Thursday live streams up at the top of modules, and you'll see them, and they're available. Each of those are individual links, and so they're all ready to go. Good Lord willing, if we all make it to that point. Going down to the introduction. I just wanted to, I'll come back to this, but the introduction, if you weren't here last time or if you missed last time, this is essentially everything I talked about, including the video, but also, of course, the syllabus and the schedule, how we're going to do this, the textbooks that are recommended but not required, and the software that we'll be using. That's the focus of today, and then some other interesting links. And our very first online lecture is available to you. So you can go ahead and start viewing that. Same with discussion 1, which is due by Sunday. And about half in the course have already done that. Half have no problem, have until Sunday. And in that discussion, it's very important. There's some things, I want to get to know you, and you tell me as little as much as you want. But the key thing I really want to know is, how did you get to ArcGIS Pro? What is your method to your madness? So are you going to be on a device here, one of these that's supplied by the university? Well, then that will be a certain option. Are you going to be using your own device in which you actually download ArcGIS Pro onto it? Well, that's another option. And another option is those of you who are kind of maybe have an Apple or neither of those sound good to you, then you can use something called a virtual desktop. So that's another option, but you got to use the ArcGIS Pro. I should say you don't have to. If you want to, you can use something called QGIS. QGIS is free. It's available to you, and it's open source, and it's quite attractive. So, okay, well, why are you not using it, sir? Well, I'm not using it because it's not the industry standard. Like ArcGIS is. So ArcGIS, if you put that out once again on the resume, it looks great. Also, ArcGIS is available to us for free. So it's kind of a top-down, you will use this. And so the sir is actually me saying sir to them, not the other way around. So I'm actually using it because we kind of have to. But like I said, it's a good thing because it is the industry standard. All right. That's it's a discussion 1, which once again, if you don't want to because this is a public deal where everyone else will see what you post when you post it. If you don't want to do that, if you want to keep it private, keep it just between me and you, that's fine. I will give you the points if you just go ahead and email that to me. All right, I'm going to go back to the intro. Is there anything else I wanted to get to? Oh, yeah. There is, like I said, down the road, a project 1 and project 2. And I want to emphasize, it's kind of, we don't have to think about things as being, we're going to make a poster or we're going to make a a big map, a piece of paper or something. We can also do things like this here. This is a 3D map that shows percentage of population change. So over a certain time. And so what it does, you can see 3D. So I know some of you might have access to a 3D printer. This is a simple thing which you can take a map that's out there, do some manipulation to it to make something besides a paper piece of map or a digital map, so you can do other things besides that. This is a cool one. It shows topography of the United States. Of course, we're rougher out west. We have a little bit of roughness there where the Appalachians are. And of course, flat there in Indiana and God's country. And then this is bachelor's degree population. So these are just kind of different things that previous students have done for their projects in this course. Once again, emphasizing do stuff that is of interest to you, that can benefit you. I might have ones in the can in which you can do these canned projects, which you just follow these steps or do certain things that I tell you to do. I would prefer it, though, if you could somehow, some way incorporate this into your own life, career, what have you. All right. So that's projects which I believe will be revealed to you in February 17th at 12:01 a.m. All right. So I'm going to now talk about the different software options. So we have 3 different options, like I've mentioned a few different times. I've yet to stand on my head and mention it, though. But option number 1. This is the one in which, if you can do it, this is the best one. And it's actually, we're downloading ArcGIS Pro 3.3 onto your device. Now, this morning, when I got her up at 4 a.m. to prepare for this discussion, I noticed that there's now a ArcGIS Pro 3.4 available to you. So once you get into 3.3, there is a download in which you can update to even to the next one, 3.4. However, 3.3 is all you need. Really, all you need is 3.0, but you'll be seeing demonstrations and stuff using, at the moment, 3.3. I don't know what will happen here once I fire up this ArcGIS Pro here. All right, so when you do that, when you do download it onto your own device, there is a particular procedure that you have to do the first time. Now, it should be the first time. It might not always be that case, but you will want to click this link here. So in option 1, in the introduction, you'll see this very first link here. This ends with APOU or AQU, whatever. It takes you to a specific rules or procedure where all you do is type in IU, but that's how you get into ArcGIS Pro. This is all after you download the product onto your device, which took me an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it might take you 30 minutes, it might take you 10, who knows, but it takes a while. Which is something I'll mention here a few different times. You'll hear it over and over in demonstrations, is this is not quick, easy work. I wish it was the case, but these are kind of big, huge data, big, huge files. And so it takes a while. Things get bogged down. Things just don't happen instantaneously. That's part of the deal. That's part of the frustration of ArcGIS. But once again, it has many blessings. Option 2. I'm not going to go over that one. Well, let's see what happens. I'll go ahead and I'll do it. And so I'll just go to IU. Got it. IU anywhere. Let's see where that takes me. And I'll probably have to do my same deal as last time, where go in here and go to desktops. This is the one that you want, SCC Desktop Remote Lab. And will it work this time? It worked at home for me, so if it's not, then it's just this device, which, hey, I'm using an STC. I'm using option 3. Why would I need option 2? So maybe that's the deal here, is from the school you can't use it. I don't know. But like I said, it was working from home, so you can use this if you're in Timbuktu or even worse, Edinburgh. You can still use it. All right, so I'm not going to go over that one and do that a third time. All right, so finally, the third option, where do we go? Third option is this using it on this device here. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. So we'll see what happens. This could not work for me. But if you are one of those who are using it from a desktop, this could be nice to follow along here. All right, so how am I going to get to ArcGIS Pro? Well, I can go to it and see in my recent folder, or I would search for it. So you can search for it on all of these STCs that have ArcGIS Pro loaded on it. I know there's only a certain amount of devices. I know in this particular room and other parts of this building, I know across the way in the campus center, they're supposed to, but I know just by dabbling already here in this particular room, they should be on all the devices. So ArcGIS Pro, it'll load up and we'll have this common situation where we are sitting and waiting. So this is another suggestion. If, like I said, this is not something you can do while you're driving, perhaps, but this is something you can do while doing homework or not homework or whatever, other classwork. So here I'm going to do my typical thing we all have to do for anything around here. So if you do have an issue as far as being able to access this, that's a UITS problem, not an Andy problem. I don't know anything about the connections here, and it's all this duo and the jumping jacks. And come on, I did it. I proved it. Let's go. Yep. All right. Take me to ArcGIS Pro. All right, so here is your landing page. And so this is great. So this should look like how it should look like the first time you come across this screen. So up in the upper right, you should see your name. And so that means you're signed in. And what that is also an indication of, that means your projects and the stuff that you have saved in your stuff should also be there as well. And so we have this particular page here. The various options. You're going to see something called map, catalog, global scene, local scene. All of these will perhaps, we'll for sure work through all of those this semester. But the global and local scene are things that do 3D, so it's three-dimensional. Whereas the map, it's what we came for, is to do work in what we call the map. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start a map, and this should tell me, okay, now I have a new project. And so projects are in ArcGIS world, that's where your stuff is saved. And so that's where your maps are going to be saved. That's where potentially some of your data could be saved. Not always, but it's essentially where you're going to find your map, the stuff, the edits that you make, where it's going to be saved. So it's very important. I mentioned this, and I'll mention this a few different times, but cartography, GIS, how it is in terms of modern cartography, a lot of it is all about files. Knowing where files are, being able to connect the files, being able to find your files, because you're going to be coming with a thumb drive. You're going to be getting something from a website. You're going to be getting something from a spatial data portal. You might be getting something from Canvas. So you have all these different things in which you're going to be pulling in files. GIS, cartography, like it or not, it's largely, it's all about being able to control where your data and your files are, being able to identify, and this helps being organized. So, this is here, it's telling me, the default, put it where you like it, put it wherever you want. If you've got a thumb drive, put it there. If you want to put it in the cloud, you can do it. If you've got, whatever it might be, that's the thing, is we're going to, as the semester goes, especially in these early exercises, figure out what works for us, what's our procedure. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm start this one. I'm going to call it my first dabble, and we'll roll. All right. So I don't know where it's going. I know where it's going to save it, but I don't know exactly where it's going to save. I have to go hunt for that. We'll do that later. All right. So this is now firing up the opening screen that you'll come across every time you, not always, it'll come back to wherever you left off. But the first time, this should be what you see here. So if you did leave off with the things kind of moved around, more often than not, it'll come back to that same rendering or view, whatever. Once again, Very typical process where we are sitting and waiting. So going back, cooking, maybe get this fired up on a laptop, cook something, catch up on shows on another device. This is part of the. I suggest it. You learn this stuff. Really, you can this class compared to GIS, you learn a little bit more textbook stuff, but you still learn map making. You learn it by doing it. All right, so here is the very first screen that you'll see over here on the left. This is called the contents pane. And so that's where you're going to find your map. And that's where you're also going to find something called your layers. Your layers, that's your spatial data. Spatial, not special. Spatial is just another word for geographic. That's where you're going to find the stuff, once again, that's being mapped. If there was nothing being mapped, we wouldn't be here. So we're mapping something. So that's all over here in the contents pane. In the middle, you see map. Of course, that's where we're going to do our art, our cartography. And of course, you can zoom in, zoom out, things I really don't have to describe since you guys have all grown up in a digital world. You'll notice that things change over here. Notice as I move my hand or my cursor, at the bottom down here is the changing of latitude and longitude, which is very geographic, very important for things that we show in cartography. Also, as I zoom in, you'll see this changes over here. This is a scale. Early on in the semester, you'll hear this is a term mentioned is a scale, and this uses a type of scale, an RF scale, which you'll learn about in online lecture 1.2. If you haven't already. And anything else I can do with that? No. All right, let's go over here. Let's go up to the top. I'm going to go ahead and click on this first tab called Map. And they kind of make this hard because you're kind of thinking, okay, well, all right, I like this map. It's cool, but that's not what I want. I want to see imagery. I want to see the area. I don't want to see, there's blues and greens and beiges. I want to see actually some buildings. And so what you have to do is you have to go over here, and they don't make it easy. And so you see this base map. So this is where you can choose a base map, and you can change that. And so terrain with labels, it's one that I like because you can, especially as you get a little closer, you can see the LiDAR, the undulations. So where are we? Let's go to campus. Yeah, look at that quarry on the southwest side of town, right there on 465. Look how deep that is. Anyhow, where are we at? We're over here in this little peninsula, so we can see. Now, knowing what we know on the western side of our campus, the White River is located. Which side is the steep side of the White River? It's on the far side, or the western side. So that's this LiDAR, which is one of the different base maps you can use. Dark gray canvas looks cool, especially if you're using neon lines on top of it to show things. We'll do something later where we show commuter patterns. So where people live and where they commute, you can kind of show that using this dark canvas. So these are different things you can do as far as the base map and change that. Of course, the base map, you can also bring in your own data. So there's data available on the internet. There's data available here, as you'll see, but there's also data that you might actually have. Well, that's where you can then put it in here and actually use that. So I can, if I wanted, I could remove these and then bring in my own data, but I'm not going to do that. So of course, the back arrow, for those of you I used to would have to explain, this is, this makes you go backwards. Now I don't really have to do that. All right. Other things, these are other ways you can toggle or like zoom in, zoom out without zooming, without using the mouse. There are some options up here in this Explore, something you can use for 3D in particular. All right, where do I want to go next? Yeah, let's go over here to the while I'm up here, let's look at view. And so I'm just going to start just canceling everything. Oh man, I just ruined it. How do I get everything back to how it was? Go up to view, reset panes, and reset for mapping. So that often happens. This is something once I've been using this same basic thing since 2000. And it's something that they just now recently made it easy to do, is make it go back to bringing all that stuff back that we want to see. All right, so over here, there's important things. Like I said, content pane, the map area or the map view or the map pane or the map frame. I don't know all the various synonyms for this map area. Over here is the catalog pane or window, but they call it panes, P-A-N-E. This is where we're going to find our data. So this could be our data that we have saved from a previous project, the previous time we were here. Could be something in which we're sharing it with an organization, sharing it with colleagues, or it could be something in which you download from a website, or something which you actually have on a thumb drive in which you then plug it in, or data that you actually, if you fly a drone, you come in and you bring in and plug in the data. That's all done here in the catalog. That's how you access it. So you can do it, say folders. That's where you see my first dabble. That's where they put it. So if I want to come back and find stuff in here, edits and changes that I make, that's where it's all going to be. And of course, you can then search for your project as well. If you're, that's where, okay, keep, a funky name. Why did I do first dabble? Because I guarantee you there's not another one out there named first dabble. So when you're searching for it, making it unique also can help expedite that. All right, next up is the portal, which is something that's cool. I would play tennis back in the day in college, and man, if the transfer portal existed back then, whoa, that would have been a whole different deal. Anyhow, let's use the portal that's here in ArcGIS Pro. All right, so ArcGIS Pro has an immense amount of data. So once again, this didn't used to be the case. It used to be 5-10 years ago. This data wasn't really readily available. It's hard to find. It was all over the place. Now it's all aggregated in one spot. Even further, anybody can make maps, make stuff, put in, upload layers and data, and put it on here. So that's once again a blessing and a curse. A blessing, which, oh my gosh, you got all this cool free data. But once again, anybody can put it up there. So as you go through this particular catalog, this wealth of data, keep that in mind. Look at the source. Make sure that that someone that's or an organization. Usually, if it's an individual, be leery. But usually, if it's an organization like the United States Geological Survey or the National Geographic, that's okay. That's pretty legit. It's something to kind of warn you about. All right, so I'm going to look at these here. And so you first off see my content. Your catalog is probably empty if it contains nothing. So you can see I've been making all kinds of maps. So as you save stuff, this is one place in which you could find it. There's favorites. I've never once used that. Maybe you will, and maybe you'll love it. So that's maybe if you keep on coming to a same data set, you don't want to keep searching for it, maybe favorite it. Maybe that's what you do with such a thing. My groups, that's really for those organizations. So here, you're also, I'm helping to prepare you not only to be great cartographers, but hopefully get a career in GIS, cartography, something related to this. And if you are going to be using this stuff, you'll be using this particular my groups or my organization for a lot of that sharing stuff, because you're going to be having big, huge files. It could be proprietary stuff in which it's secrets. Good thing no one's sitting right next to me. You would have just gotten doused. Anyhow, so that doesn't have stuff that's that anyone can access. So that's stuff that you can find in your organization. Fortunately, our organization also has a bunch of stuff here as well. Our organization being Indiana University. Continue on. Now let's look at where you can find all the stuff. So here's ArcGIS Online. This is what I talked about as far as people uploading, but also could be good people, could be bad people, could be anybody. So this is where you can find unbelievable amounts of stuff. So if you're just bored and you're interested in, oh, don't do it, Andy. All right, I'm going to do it. Name a country of the world. Botswana. Botswana, yeah, just anything Botswana. All right, so we got county boundaries, we got average household size, Esri demographics. That's legit. Esri is essentially the people who make ArcGIS Pro, so that's legit. So I mean, this is endless stuff. I mean, COVID stuff about Botswana, forest. I mean, so I don't need to keep on going on about all the various things you can find in Botswana, but this is got to, once again, when we get to that project time down the road here, I mean, find something good, find something of interest to you. Don't rely on my canned options, whatever. Finally, you have this last one called Living Atlas. I haven't explored this one too much. Netball courts. What the heck would that be? We'll go ahead and add and open it and see what happens. Living Atlas, I mean, it's just, I don't know who does this stuff, but I think it's more of the same. Although I do think it is Esri based, so it is going to be a little bit more legit. Okay, so it's some type of sport they play where they have no land, no areas to play anything because it's too rugged or water. Cool, great, get rid of it. All right, so that's just a quick foray into the things you'll see when you pop up. I'll come back to this here in a minute where I'll give a quick demonstration. I'm going to now go back up here. Once again, we've got our various tabs: project map, insert, analysis, view, edit. Go back to analysis. You're going to find a couple different ways to get to something called the geoprocessing tool. Now, the geoprocessing tool is something that in ArcGIS, in that previous class I've mentioned overwhelmingly, we use that all the time. We do geoprocessing all the time. In this class, we will use a little bit of it. What this is tools that we can kind of use to take things, to make things look a little bit better, to merge data. Maybe we don't like data. We want to get rid of some data. This is things that we can do here in tools. So let's say we have a map of all the 92 counties, and we only want the counties that are along the Ohio River that have 50% of their population living within 10 miles of the largest town. This is something obscure, but whatever. So that's all stuff that you can do in the tools in terms of geoprocessing analysis to find all that various stuff that I just mentioned. All right, and so I'll click on tools and you'll see over here geoprocessing. So at the bottom below, you can go back and forth between catalog, geoprocessing, and this is very common. So now you're pretty much set up for the first few exercises in terms of the kind of stuff that you need to know. Actually, let me take a step back. I haven't talked about how to save it. This is very logical. I don't have to do too much to explain how we save things. There's a save option at the top, save project. And because I already named it, there is an option at the front where you can just kind of screw it, say, I'm not going to, I don't need no project. I'm just going to start making maps. Then that's when we'll come back and have to save it, name it right here. But saving it, and I believe the newer versions of ArcGIS Pro are finally doing what we've been asking them to do, and that's auto saving. And so there is an auto save feature. I believe that's working, but you always should save your work. Always, always, always. I've seen so many people break down in their lives doing this stuff in which they do hours of work and they forgot to go up there and hit that little button there and hit the save button. Anyway, so save your work and continue to do so. All right, let's go ahead and let's on the fly do some map making. All right, I'm going to remove these features here. I want a nice new. And if you want me to map something, start hollering out at something. If you don't, that's fine as well. I'm just going to be doing something related to our campus. Do I have anything planned? No, I don't have anything planned. All right, so let's go to catalog. All right, we'll start off with the portal. We'll find my own stuff. Let's find something in my own. Tornadoes. Tornado density. Okay, so it's going to be its own map. So it's going to create its own map. What is that? No. There we go. So if you look in the bottom right, you missed it. There was this thing squiggling. Can we do it again, maybe? Right here, you see that little, there's a little circle. For those at home, there's this little circle here. So right now, I don't know why we're not showing it. Why am I not seeing my stuff? Once again, welcome to Esri. Welcome to ArcGIS. So there's got to be, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why it's not showing what I've. Oh, I've got to do this. We've got to do this now. So, of course, we have done this before. I mean, it's my own stuff. Come on, let me have my own stuff. Where's the data? What is this rest stuff? It's amazing. Did it at home, 4:30 a.m. Worked perfectly. So once again, using your own device might be the best solution. Here I am using our own university devices, and what I was just doing at home was not working. So we'll try a different map maybe. Probably not going to, same story, why wouldn't it? Of course it would work. Of course it would work. Once again, I can't emphasize this enough. I'm glad this is being recorded and you're seeing this. This is exactly how this stuff is. It's frustrating. It's only one time it works, another thing doesn't work. And you know, how do you teach that? How do you put that in the textbook? You don't. You pretty much do it as you learn it by doing it. So that's exactly what we're doing here. So here's a map that's I don't know where I got it, showing soil orders for here in Indiana, which it's already labeled, and so you can do different things. I'm going to go to properties. So over here in the labels, in the properties, you can find all the various things as far as where it's from. Later on, you're going to hear me mention spatial reference. You'll find that there. This is very important here. The projected coordinate system, you're thinking, well, why would that be important? There would be situations in which you'll have a particular underlying base map that'll have, look great. It'll have Indianapolis there. You'll see it. But then you'll have your data, which is all based in Indianapolis. It's over in China. Well, what's going on is it's using a different coordinate system. They need to speak the same language. So that's all stuff that is shown and explained here. So once again, I'm trying to use today to introduce some of these other ideas. All these are things you will do a little bit of work with. So once again, how did I get to that? I just right-clicked on the layer and find properties, and you can do different things. All right, let's find some data from ArcGIS Pro. I'm in the Botswana deal. We'll go there. Botswana, what was it again? Botswana household size. Oh, I'm going to get bonked. Why would I get that? Pedestrian crashes. Well, take me there. Anyhow, I'm not going to go through all these if they're not going to work in this particular situation. I don't know if you're looking at something right now, if it's working for you. I have no idea what's going on in your worlds. All right. Finally, we'll go to the last part of the, there we are. Now all of a sudden they're showing. Okay, so what is this? This is cool. Wow. All right, so let's use this. So I'm going to use this to be able to play around with it and show different things you can do. So this is cool. I like these reds. I hope I can change this. There's red, blues. But I don't like that. You know what? I'm colorblind. I can't see reds. So I don't like that. So you can change the symbology of that. And so I'll go over here and make it something hideous. Let's say that. We'll do that. So you can change the icons. So this is where you can really get into customization. And so cartography, once again, it's the art. And so when I first look at this, I mean, if you were publishing this, what in the world? You would see all these different colors, these different lines. It's just chaos. So cartographer, as I hope by the end of the semester, we would say, okay, if we're publishing this for a certain audience, let's turn some things off. Let's turn off some noise. Let's focus on what we're trying to do here. And so once again, these layers here, what I'm doing is I'm showing how they can be clicked off, and it's all logical. If I say, okay, well, this one here, I want this sidewalks availability. I want this to be visible. I can then move it to the top. I can move it above all the other ones. And so that's logical. And so these are things that in the contents pane you can do to your spatial data, changing the symbology. So let's look at this one. I right-clicked on this particular layer, daily services walkability. Cool. And so I can go down to properties, find out some information about it. Where did it come from? Where did this data? What's its source? All those things. Change the display. But what I want to do is I want to change I want to do something else. Attribute table. Everything in ArcMap or ArcGIS or QGIS, it's all geographic. Once again, we would not be here if there wasn't spatial, not special data, geographic data, stuff that actually can be mapped. It makes a lot of sense. So here in the attribute table, all these various colors is blue to puke green here. This color here, they associate with these numbers, which we can see here. 1, 2, 3 over here, all this number of categories, which then correspond to individual shapes. Each of these, the computer doesn't really know this as being the area of downtown. It doesn't know that. All it knows is just to put this particular shape, this particular color, in this particular location. That's all it knows what to do. And so that's here shown in this particular attribute table. So something else I'm going to emphasize early in the semester, you're going to hear that term attribute table. Even further, let's go to something else here. Let's go to this attribute table for this particular layer. I can then select one particular feature and it'll be highlighted. See how it's highlighted right there? It's in this teal color. So anytime, it's kind of a dead giveaway. Anytime you see a map in which it has a teal circle, teal boundary, teal something, it's an indication that someone has something selected in ArcGIS Pro. So I have that one particular one selected. What I can then do with that is, okay, I want that one. I just want a layer of just that one dot, just that one particular there. I could go over here to bike and pedestrian, selection, make layer from selected features. And so that one particular dot, where do we all go? See, that one particular dot is now there. And so that's something else. A lot of students who come to me from outside geography, environmental studies, geology, whatever, you're just looking to do stuff like that. Simple stuff. It's like, okay, I got all this other stuff. I just want certain things on my map. And that's one way to do it, is to go in the attribute table and select them based on maybe a certain characteristic, a certain thing, sort them, then select the ones that are right next to each other, and then that might help you with whatever you're trying to do. All right, this is the attribute table and some things you can do with it that are of use. Other things, I could say, once again, colorblind, reds and greens aren't good. And so I could maybe change that to purples and yellows if I would want to. That's all stuff that we would do here in symbology. In symbology, I mean, there's unlimited things you can do. You can make them transparent. You can make it dashed. You can do countless different options as far as showing your data. Anything else as far as I wanted to show with that? attribute table, symbology, sorting things. So if I want to show something that's Indy Health District, I want that line to be at the top. Logically, I'd move that up. Finally, let's go up to the share or save. Besides, I need to save it. Always remember, save, 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 save. And then go up to share. We can do different things. We can share it as a web map, share just our layers. We can export it different ways. So I'll go ahead and I'll export this. I can export it as a PDF, an image. I can print it if you're connected to a printer. And these are all things that you wouldn't want to do from the map view. You would want to go back up here to insert and do what's called a new layout. And all of this in the early exercises are going to be explained. So if you have different size paper, whatever you're wanting to do, if you're wanting to do letter or portrait, it's all stuff in which a cartographer, for in Indiana, for example, Indiana, as far as do we use a letter or portrait for Indiana? For the most part, because of the shape of Indiana, we use this. We use the portrait view because of Indiana's shape being more like that. We can then move that to different parts. We did that over here. We have all this extra space. However, Pennsylvania, that god-awful state to drive through. My goodness, that state sucks to drive through. That you would want to do something more in a landscape view. All right. Anything else I would want to say about this? No. Cool. That's today. Anybody got questions? Things they want